Nigeria, I am Becky Badujemo in Lagos. Glad to have you on Newsline. It's not too late to say Happy Democracy Day. In spite of the COVID-19 pandemic, June 12 was marked, and President Muhammadu Buhari made a broadcast in the morning of that day. He talked about the many achievements of his administration, covering all sectors. We will highlight the transformation of some of these sectors tonight. Staying safe remains priority for now. The coronavirus is still looking for bodies to ravage. Donning a face mask can prevent its incursion. Majority of Nigerians appear in public masked up, but they are doing it with style and class. Some are also improvising. There's an interesting piece on that subject. Meanwhile, sexual crimes seem to be happening around the country. We have accounts on some recent attacks that are under investigations. Also from our crime file is a sad story about a woman who spent 2 years in prison for an offense she did not commit. Then an update on the conjoined twins that were surgically separated in Abuja several months ago. But let's watch the news, and it will be time for the big stories. Over to Elizabeth Omoriyi in Abuja.
Thank you so much, Becky. It's nice to have you join us on the news segment of the program. The Presidency has acknowledged concerns by several members of the public regarding a recent incident among occupants of the State House which led to the arrest of some staff by the police. In a statement, Senior Special Assistant to the President of Media and Publicity, Garba Shehu, assures Nigerians that the President and Commander-in-Chief of the Armed Forces, Muhammadu Buhari, is not and was not at any time in any form of danger arising either from deadly infections or the reported incident by security personnel, which is currently under investigation. This particular incident happened outside the main residence of the President, and relevant authorities have been mandated to investigate the matter for the law to take its course. Now to political matters. Governor Muhammadu Inuayaya has played host to the Senate President, APC governors, and other politicians of the Northeast extraction. Emmanuel Akila reports that the Northeast meeting was to ensure fair representation of the zone with regards to the vacancies of the APC National Secretariat.
The Northeast Caucus meeting was delayed by the COVID-19 pandemic and the attendant restrictions on gatherings and travel. With gradual easing of the restrictions by the federal government, the APC Northeast Zonal meeting is conducted with strict compliance with the COVID-19 prevention protocol. Senate President Ahmed Lawan called for unity among politicians in the region, while the three APC governors in the Northeast, Ino Yahaya of Gombe, Memala Buni of Yobe, and Babagana Umar Zulum of Borno, all agree that the zone's problems can best be solved by the people of the zone, beginning with exemplary leadership.
It's an emergency meeting which basically has a one-item agenda, which is endorsement of the nomination of the National Secretary and that of Zonal Youth Leader and that of Deputy National Auditor. And accordingly, actually, Waziri Bulama's nomination was endorsed and hereby forwarded to the National Executive Committee for ratification. So also the nomination of Abubakar Musa for Zonal Youth Leader and that of Shetima for National Deputy Auditor. That is just it, and also we talk about some issues.
The meeting, which lasted for 40 minutes, was also attended via video conferencing by the Secretary to the Government of the Federation, Boss Gida Mustafa, and Senator Mahmoud Njumo Goji. In Gombe, Emmanuel Akila, NTA News.
Still on electoral matters, the All Progressives Governors Forum has unanimously reaffirmed commitment to work for the unity of the party. Chairman of the forum and Governor of Kebbi State, in a statement after their virtual meeting, said the governors have collectively agreed to work to ensure fair and democratic internal party mechanism for the selection of party candidates in all elections, especially in respect of Edo and Ondo States 2020 governorship elections. The statement said the members are confident that the party will resolve all current challenges and emerge stronger. The contributions of the founding fathers of Nigeria to the country's democracy is immeasurable as history goes. However, the recognition of June 12 as Democracy Day redefined political values in the country. Haman Jabani tells us more.
A political leader or a politician can be anyone who has taken up the responsibility of governing. History has given Nigeria excess of these crops of people who have dedicated their lives to the betterment of the country. Nigeria's political leaders' Hall of Fame parades names like Dan Suleiman, Chief Frank Kokori, Pa Alfred Ronwami, Pa Anthony Enahoro, MQ Abiola, Chief Bola Ige, just to mention a few. These politicians have at one time or the other impacted on Nigeria's political atmosphere over the years. Chains of events snowballed into an election described by many observers as one of the most credible in the history of Nigeria, which brought about the setting aside of a day to reminisce these events. June 12 has stood the test of controversy with a stamp from the Buhari-led administration as Nigeria's Democracy Day. One man stood out of the crowd in these annulments of June 12, Chief Moshood Abiola. He contested for the highest seat in the Federal Republic of Nigeria with a landslide win, but that election was annulled. Nigeria as a nation is celebrating her Democracy Day officially on June 12, which many say is a rebirth and a memorable day in the history of democratic processes in Nigeria. For some, the day also brought about unity among Nigerian citizens, especially the older generation. Observers in Nigeria's politics believe that President Muhammadu Buhari's decision to designate June 12 as Democratic Day invested the late MQ Abiola and Babagana Kingibe with national honors, and the renaming of the Abuja National Stadium as Moshood Abiola National Stadium, a patriotic and democratic gesture which Nigeria's founding fathers stood for.
They had an idea which they hope that will nurture into a nation that will give each and every citizen a sense of belonging.
The fact that Mr. President, despite his military background, he's so democratic, even more democratic than some of us that are co-politicians.
It is believed that Nigeria started on a good note with the nation's founding fathers at the helms of affairs, driving the nation to greater height through dedicated, selfless, pragmatic and prudent management of country's scarce resources. Politics was played without bitterness. Religion was practiced devoid of sentiment, tribalism or bias.
You see, the most important thing for us to consider is what you can contribute to the country, not what you can get out of the country.
Key players in the industry are of the opinion that if Nigerians can get it right, the sanctity of the ballot box will be reinstated. The despair electorate will work with smiles and renew hope to vote for credible leaders, and the people can learn something from the lives sometimes of all those that contributed to the growth of the country's democratic journey. Hamman Jabani, NTA News.
Now, as democracy deepens in Nigeria, media practitioners as frontliners in the entrenchment of the values of this system of government seek implementation of enabling laws to guarantee press freedom in Nigeria. Archibald Bass reports that this is imperative as the history of Nigeria's democracy cannot be told without the role of the press.
The importance of freedom of the press cannot be overemphasized, considering its vital role in informing citizens about government and non-governmental activities at all levels. That the Nigerian media, which is also said to be the fourth estate of the realm, has been a dogged fighter in the restoration and nurture of the country's democracy is stating the obvious. 21 years of Nigeria's democracy, the press has continued to flourish as the watchdog of the society, although practitioners are desirous of a more conducive environment to thrive.
If government can pick out the insurance of journalists as a priority, for example, and they make it mandatory, whether public or private establishments, that as a practicing journalist or a media practitioner, get your staff insured.
Every now and then we see new introductions of bills to the National Assembly and what have you to attempt to control the press. We will not have a true democracy if you control the press.
But is there the existence of press freedom for these frontline information managers?
the equipment aspect, the human development aspect, regular training and things like that. The press should be given that pride of place. And the insensate arrest of journalists, and I condemn it as a person. That means they're not free.
As democracy continues to flourish, stakeholders in the pen profession are seeking for the freedom of the press in its entirety. In Calabar, Achibombasi, NTA News.
And in other news, stakeholders in the transportation and commercial sector in Anambra State have commended the administration of President Muhammadu Buhari on the progress made so far on the construction of a second bridge across the Niger. They described it as a national development that will benefit not just the southeast geopolitical zone, but the entire Nigeria. Ekene Undule reports.
For over 20 years, the clamor for a second bridge across the River Niger was a subject of politicking spanning several administrations. Hence, the visible works on the second Niger bridge by the present administration is seen as a demonstration of sincerity of purpose. Currently, piling work has been completed on the bridge and approach roads are being constructed, while 48% of work on the bridge has been completed. The economic impact of this bridge to the nation is described by stakeholders as huge, as many businesses that lose man-hours on the pre-existing bridge will have some respite when the second bridge is completed.
This is when business activities are quite high. Individuals could stay there 5, 6, 7 hours, a single carriageway. But this new one is a 6-lane laneway, and so ideally it would reduce the traffic tremendously.
It means something about the economy, it means movement of goods and services across border. It means reducing the time we spend. It means removing all the gridlocks. It means improvement of movement and goods, I said, across all borders in the country. Is that what it means to Nigerians?
Commendations also went to President Buhari for keeping to his promise to complete the project before the expiration of his second tenure.
And they are working very fast. If you go there, you'll be amazed. If you go and see what they have done, I have the belief that they will complete it before the second term.
The second Niger bridge, which is 1.6 kilometers long and furnished with other ancillary infrastructure, including a 10.3 kilometer highway, Owerri interchange, and a toll station, is expected to be completed in the year 2022. In Onitsha, Ekene Ndulue, NTA News.
Let's now take you to Lagos, where the federal government has presented relief materials to victims of Abuja pipeline explosion that occurred in March this year in Lagos. The presentation was made under strict compliance with the social and physical distancing rule. Abolade Salami reports.
May 2020 was a dark day that will forever be remembered by residents of Shobatown in Amuwo-Dofin local government area of Lagos State, following a pipeline explosion that claimed several lives and destroyed property worth millions of naira. While some residents are still not over their losses, the federal government, in fulfillment of its promise to render support to the victims, has presented an assortment of relief materials. They include 562 bags of 12.5 kg rice, 562 bags of 25 kg beans, and 562 bags of 12.5 kg gari, as well as vegetable oil, clothing, and some toiletries.
It's a big opportunity to our community, and I thank the federal government for giving us this opportunity.
Them coming now as a first step to identify with the people is a very good thing. We are very happy.
I thank God for this, because at least it will help so many people, not only me, but I thank God for everybody and the government too.
So what we are seeing today is in fulfillment of President Muhammadu Buhari's promise on that day, and this is the beginning, and it will definitely continue.
392 persons benefited from the exercise. In Lagos, Abolade Salami, NTA News.
outgone week was a spike in the number of COVID-19 cases in Nigeria, as in their plans to use 500 trained coaches as wards for coronavirus patients. Here is Joyce Ometu with a review of the global pandemic in the past week. In the outgone week, the number of COVID-19 cases in Nigeria crossed the 15,000 threshold. A review of the daily reports of COVID-19 cases by the Nigeria Center for Disease Control shows that Nigeria recorded a total of 3,196 new cases and 53 new deaths in the past week. However, there are positive signs as a remarkable number of patients who tested positive for the virus have now recovered. During the week, 1,142 new recoveries were documented. Data compiled by the Nigeria Center for Disease Control as at 13th of June 2020 shows that Nigeria has a total number of 15,682 cases of COVID-19, 5,101 recoveries and 407 fatalities. Meanwhile, figures published by Worldometer as at 6 p.m. local time reveal 236,653 confirmed cases of the virus across the continent, 6,292 deaths and 109,397 recoveries. The latest figures show an increase of over 53,179 new infections in 7 days. On the global scene, record by Johns Hopkins University as at 6 p.m. shows 7,916,497 infections, 433,194 deaths and over 4 million recoveries. The total number of cases worldwide rose by 619,137, with 32,733 new deaths in the past week. In other developments, India is to convert another 500 railway carriages to create 8,000 more beds for coronavirus patients in Delhi amid a surge in infections. And that's a global update on COVID-19. Many thanks for watching. I am Joyce Ometu. 70 state-of-the-art bed facility temporary isolation center built by the Nigerian National Petroleum Corporation and Nigerian Ajib Oil Company joint venture partners has been inaugurated in Asaba Delta State. The facility located at the Stephen Keshi Stadium was inaugurated at the instance of the representative of the Minister of State for Petroleum and the State Governor, Dr. Ifeanyi Okowa. Austin Edemodo reports.
The inauguration of the temporary isolation center in Asaba marks yet another response by the Nigerian Ajib Oil Company and its joint venture partners, Nigerian National Petroleum Corporation and Wando, to stem the spread of coronavirus pandemic, not only in Delta State but across the country.
If the communities are not healthy, our workers are not healthy, the people in the areas that we work are not healthy, the generality of people are not healthy, the oil business cannot thrive, cannot continue. Therefore, it is in our informed self-interest that we decided to intervene in this manner.
This initiative has established its footprints in 21 states across the geopolitical zones of the Federation. Each of these states has so far received consignment of medical consumables, an ambulance, and medical equipment like test kits, ventilators, and others like that.
We believe that the state, being a welcoming state, will open its doors also to other neighboring states to share in the medical facility.
The temporary medical infrastructure houses 70 beds space, 5 intensive care unit beds, laboratory and X-ray units. Apart from the CCTV and ICT units, the center boasts of a dedicated 300 kVA generator. The governor of Delta State, Dr. Ifeanyi Okowa, therefore acknowledged that the facility, which complements already existing ones, comes at a time the state's COVID-19 cases have hit 245, 151 active cases and 12 deaths. He said the state government will continue to sustain the enabling environment for oil companies to operate, while soliciting for the establishment of more testing centers across the country.
And as we look into the future, it's important that we try to engage with the various states and possibly the Nigerian Governors Forum so that we're able to tailor our needs to the supplies that we get from the oil industry.
Between 2010 and 2018, the Nigerian Ajib Oil Company and its joint venture partners have completed 405 projects across the south of Nigeria and empowered 38,550 farmers, coupled with the establishment of 74 schools and 35 health centers. I'm Austin Edemodo, NTA News.
Nigerians have berated controversial singer Aziz Fashola, popularly known as Naira Marley, for holding a concert in Abuja despite ban on public gatherings by the Presidential Task Force on COVID-19 to contain the virus in the country. Daniel Aderi reports that the Jabi Lake Mall, where the concert was held, has also been sealed off.
This video obtained from social media shows Naira Marley on stage on the 13th of June performing live at the Jabi Lake Mall, Abuja, in what was meant to be a drive-in concert that reportedly got out of hands. The concert, which was put together by Play Network Africa, Traffic Bar and El Carnival, saw most of the attendees dancing in clusters without face masks to protect themselves and utter disregard of social distancing rules and ban on mass gatherings spelled out by the Presidential Task Force on COVID-19. Getting wind of the scenario, the FCT Ministerial Task Force sprung into action, securing a court injunction for sealing off the Jabi Lake Mall where the concert was held.
The drive-in party for now is not approved in the FCT. If you are passing here, the car park is always very filled. And like what the people who are here explained to us, the car park was very filled and everything was as if nothing was happening until the artist himself appeared and everybody in that manner went wild. He flew in from Lagos, he flew back, and we are very confident and very sure that the government of Lagos State will be doing what we believe they are doing at the moment, asking questions how that actually happened.
There have been torrents of reactions from Nigerians about the event.
It's unfortunate that the event of yesterday, they're not supposed to have held such a gathering yesterday because they are going to endanger a lot of lives. So certainly I'm not in support of such a gathering.
Other people that have stores here should not be affected because they didn't know they were even hosting a show here. We are not even aware and they paid for this rent. So it should be the management that should be held in captivity, not the other stores.
I don't see anything wrong with it. The entertainers really are suffering from this thing. So they should release us with the entertainers.
I was at work yesterday and believe me, I did not even spend 1 second viewing if Naira Marley was around or not. I condemn it, but at the same time, I don't understand the issue of the staffs leaving their job. Some of us have not been paid like since April or March, and now they're locking down. What are we going to do?
Until all restrictions and gatherings beyond 20% are lifted, it is expected of all Nigerians to comply with the guidelines of the Presidential Task Force to curb the spread of COVID-19. In Abuja, Daniel Aderiye, NT News.
Thanks for staying with us. Now, to speak more on Naira Marley's concert and its implication at this time the nation is grappling with COVID-19, I have with me in the studio FCT Task Team. He's the chairman, Iharu Atta, who joins me now. Thank you so much for coming to our studio.
Thank you very much for having me.
All right, how do you intend to trace those that came to the concert?
Yeah, I think the first thing we did, first of all, was to actually let people understand that the lives of persons in the FCT have been endangered, that the laws and the rules given by the President and Commander-in-Chief have been breached, that the health protocols are set out for us by health practitioners, a health minister for health and others have been thrown to the mud. And as a people, as a government, we must not sit down and see life being endangered. That's the fundamental principle first here, and we must keep raising that here. I think the first thing we did was to ensure that we don't allow that to happen again and send forth a very strong signal, which is what we did today in line with the fundamental rules of the rule of law by getting the magistrate, which always sit during the COVID-19, and Jabi Lake Mall being a violator by allowing that going to take place there and doing all that. But I know that the health response team, headed by the health minister and the team around the FCT as well, would be looking at that very seriously because for now, some people flew in from Lagos. They flew back after the concert immediately. They actually had body contact. There was no social distancing. There was wild dancing and all of that here. And they would be looking at that because that have endangered not just us, but even those in Lagos.
All right, Naira Marley himself Will he be arrested or prosecuted?
Yeah,
What
I
next?
think for us in the FCT, that question was asked today.
Okay.
And I believe that the government of Lagos State, as well as the FCT administration headed by Malam Mohammed Musa Bello, are all working as a team. He flew in from Lagos and flew back almost after the concert that same night yesterday. And I know that the government of Lagos would have been very worried to have flew out of Lagos with some team and they did this wild show and they returned back to Lagos. Then the government of Lagos, where it currently is now, I think should be doing something along that. But I believe largely it should be the first thing first to save life. First of all, it should be isolated and subsequently face the very full wrath of the law to serve as a deterrent to others.
Okay. Now, the mall has been sealed off. What will happen to the stores, the store owners?
You're asking me a question.
Yes.
When NTA is sealed, God forbid, what happens to the newscaster? They don't come and cast the news. That's the truth here. We see the judge in her wisdom gave a verdict that as far as she's concerned, the mall contravened the Quarantine Act signed by the President and Commander-in-Chief of the Armed Forces.
Okay.
So when you seal the mall is made up of the shop, the car parking lot, and every other component in the mall. So everything now remains under lock and key. That's what the judge gave for 2 weeks here because of the contravention. And that will serve as a deterrent to other persons who would have wanted to do same. The purpose is not to punish the people you see there who are crying, but to ensure that we do what is right and appropriate. The management of the mall gave out the parking space. Ordinarily, it's even a land use contravention in the FCT to have given out a car park for a concert. If we want to do a concert, go look for a big concert.
I'm afraid this is the much I can take from you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you so much.
Thank you
for your time. And thank you for your efforts.
Thank you for having me on. Thank you for having me on set.
Moving on now, the Presidency has reacted to a statement alleging that insecurity in some northern states indicates that President Muhammad Buhari and the governors of those states have lost control over the protection of the people. Responding to the statement signed by Professor Abdullahi under the banner of Northern Elders Forum, NEF, the Presidency has decried the misinterpretation of true elders of Northern Nigeria, saying NEF is just Ango Abdullahi, and Ango Abdullahi is NEF lacking credible membership. The statement signed by the Special Advisor to the President on Media and Publicity, Femi Adesina, adds that NEF showed its antipathy against President Buhari before the 2019 presidential election, and that President Buhari nonetheless is steadfastly focused on retooling Nigeria for progress. To other matters, give blood and make the world a healthier place is the theme of 2020 World Blood Donation Day, relating to the essentials of voluntary blood donation to saving lives. Uche Ugochukwu reports on how free blood donation meets the critical need for treatment and urgent intervention.
Giving life is helping somebody that is in need.
I can't just there and say, let me give my blood out, because I need it in my body.
I was able to give £1 yesterday. I came by this morning. If I can donate another one, even not because of my uncle, maybe for others that need it. But they say no, they can't do that.
For there to be more success stories of people willing to donate blood like Dennis, the World Blood Donor Day was set aside to appreciate them, encourage people like Agnes to freely donate, and create more awareness for the likes of Yeni. Making safe blood available has been a challenge due to low donations and scarce test equipment, especially in low-income countries.
We also would need facilities that can handle storage of blood, because there are different blood components. The way you store platelet concentrate is not the same way you store the popular whole blood. It's not the same way you would handle fresh plasma if you need to freeze it. So storage is another big problem. Beyond that, I think we're doing well when it comes to test kits.
When we talk about safe blood, it means that blood that has been collected from donors that have been screened and gone through all the rigorous checks to make sure that there's no infection, the level is adequate, and every part component of blood is at the right proportion, so it is safe to be used by any patient that needs it.
These experts appeal to people within the age limit of 18 to 65 to willingly donate blood 2 or 3 times annually to enable the country attain World Health Organization's self-sufficiency status of 20 to 25 regular donors per 1,000 inhabitants. Although giving blood is all about giving lives, hematologists advise that all safety measures must be adhered to, just as the theme, Save Blood, Saves Lives, suggests. I am Uche Ugochukwu, NTA News.
Let's shift attention to security. The Oyo State Police Command has commenced investigation into the alleged rape and murder of a 21-year-old national diploma student of Okeogun Polytechnic, Grace Oshiagu. The victim was said to have been murdered inside a church located in Akinyele local government area of Oyo. She had matted cuts on her body. This case of rape and murder is the third of such in Akinyele local government of Oyo State. Within the space of 3 weeks, the Oyo State Police Command enjoined members of the public to volunteer credible information to unravel the development. And still on security, the coordinator in Defense Media Operations, Major General John Enenche, Operation Lafayette says the ground troops of Sector 3 and Air Task Force has successfully repelled attacks on Monguno town and inflicted heavy casualties on Boko Haram Islamic State of West Africa terrorists who attempted to breach Monguno town in Borno State on Saturday. Major General John Enenche further reveals that the troop joined the combined Brave Sector 3 counterattack and precise ISR ammunition delivery by the Air Task Force. 20 Boko Haram and ISOP fighters were neutralized and 4 of the gun trucks destroyed. The troops also captured some of the terrorists and their equipment. The High Command of the Armed Forces of Nigeria commends the land component and Air Task Force of Operation Lafayette for the dexterity and professionalism exhibited during the operation. And next is sports update with Kene Amanze Marcus.
Following the choice of October 22 to November 4 as tentative date for the 20th National Sports Festival in Benin City, Edo State, some athletes in Uyo, the Akwa Ibom State capital, have intensified training ahead of the competition. Correspondent John Paul Alumina reports that stakeholders received news of the new date with hope.
You know, athletes have been training for quite some time. It's a good thing for us, and of course, we'll have like 3 months to prepare for the festival. So whatever form the athletes will have lost, by the grace of God, we'll see how we can restore it before then.
We are very happy, especially for me. I'm very glad because I know I'll be there once more again and display what I have been training for.
As countries around the world ease lockdown due to the coronavirus pandemic, World Athletics says it is working on a shortened season from August to October 2020. President of the athletics ruling body, Sebastian Coe, disclosed that a number of elite Diamond League meetings will also hold within the 90 days. The body issued a 22-page guideline based on scientific and medical knowledge of the virus responsible for COVID-19. Meanwhile, colleagues of the late technical director of the Nigeria Football Federation, Shuaibu Amadu, on June 11 gathered in Auchi, Edo State, to remember the late Super Eagles coach who died on June 11, 2016.
Amadu believed in development of human beings. That's why when he came into Edo State to say he wanted to establish a youth development program, all of us embraced it.
Wonderful man. Easy to deal with, very strict, very positive-minded human being, and a tough guy as well.
They decried the coronavirus crisis that has disrupted normal life and promised to organize a national football competition in memory of the late Shuaibu Amadu during the 5th anniversary of his demise in 2021. Sports update, Manzi Marcus, NTA News.
Into condolences, President Muhammad Buhari has expressed shock at the death of Mrs. Ibidun Itwa Ihodalo, wife of Pastor Itwa Ihodalo of Trinity House, based in Lagos. In a statement signed by the Special Advisor to the President on Media and Publicity, Femi Additional, the President shares the pain and sorrow of the family and prays God's comfort for the entire family, friends, and members of Trinity House. And that's the news segment of Newsline today. Becca will be back with fantastic stories for you. Stay with us.
I wish to once again commend the frontline workers across the country who, on a daily basis, risk everything to ensure we win this fight. For those who got infected in the line of duty, rest assured that government will do all it takes to support you and your families during this exceedingly difficult period. I will also take this opportunity to assure you all that your safety well-being, and welfare remains paramount to our government. I am using this opportunity to express our deepest condolences to the families of all Nigerians that have lost their loved ones as a result of the COVID-19 pandemic. This is our collective loss, and we share your grief.
Choose to do this with your stew, but not your data. Get more out of life with the new Airtel data plans. Dial *141# today. Data is life.
Airtel, the smartphone network. What is the good life? The good life is every day of your life. It's every day you choose to live with heart. Every day you choose to live in the moment. Some find it in living for others. Others find it in the quiet of solitude. You may find it in the adventure of discovery or in the gratification that comes with enjoying the promise of tomorrow. Some find it in the joy that comes with giving. Others find it in the confidence that comes with self-love. Whatever your idea of the good life may be, you can live it to the fullest with your Verve card. Choose Verve for the good life. Data plan. All existing Glow customers now enjoy up to 20% more data. Dial *777# to choose a plan. Glow Unlimited.
This commencement of the school feeding program is sequel to a March 29, 2020 presidential pronouncement by His Excellency President Muhammad Buhari, directing the Honorable Minister of Humanitarian Affairs, Disaster Management and Social Development, my humble self, to liaise with the state governments to develop strategies on the continuation of the school feeding program, even though our children are at home as a result of the COVID-19 pandemic.
Thank you, Mr. President, for giving us the food. Thank you, Federal Government. God bless Baba Buhari.
Tell them. They told me you are the best around here.
What can I do for you, sir?
I want my own very, very simple. I don't want any shine. If I see any shine.
Actually, I'd love some sequins on my skirt. And I don't like any frills.
I beg, I want frills on mine. But it must not be too tight.
Tight! That tight now, that is what I want. And the transition.
Oh, you know what? I want a gown.
Me too. I want to come to burn.
You know what GMS and this? Hey, did you capture all the information?
Of course. course not.
Actually.
Fantastic!
I give my customers what they love because everyone has their unique style. So why should they wear the same thing? Just like MTN for me, which gives unique data and recharge offers just the way you like it. Just dial *121# and turn up great offers every day.
Everywhere you go, MTN.
Staying with us, we'll begin with June 12. Democracy Day was celebrated low-key as a result of the guidelines on social interactions to help prevent COVID-19. In Cross River State, however, some persons living with disability could say Christmas came early. Achbong Basse will tell us why it was a glorious event for the vulnerable group in that state.
There are the downtrodden, rejected by name and oftentimes neglected by society due especially to levels of incapacity and physical disability. Earning a living for these persons can be a Herculean task due probably to no fault of theirs, and with the COVID-19 pandemic, life can better be imagined. Sukkah has come their way in a bid to present a new twist of life that will make them economically viable and self-reliant, courtesy of a humanitarian group that calls itself the Ben Akak Foundation.
This is the day that the Lord has made.
There's no Cross Riverian that have sacrificed his resources to take care of us, especially in this hard time, the COVID-19 pandemic period.
For this humanitarian group, this gesture is one of many ways to uplift the lives of the downtrodden.
That we've met them in a group, their leaders have been able to tell us what they need, and we'll try in our own little best through the foundation to reach out to the appropriate quarter.
But we're just living our dream, because we know that no matter what you are and no matter what you have, if the people around you are not benefiting, you are considered poor.
It's only God Almighty that can push a man to do what he's doing now.
This show of love was one full of emotions, and as the saying goes, love conquers all was on display.
Yes, giving them a sense of belonging is very commendable. And still on June 12, in a speech to the nation on Democracy Day, President Muhammadu Buhari emphasized his administration's commitment to enhancing infrastructure in all sectors, including transportation. This assurance is already evident in the rail system, and the prospects of adding Ibadan-Kano rail line to the vast network of the standard gauge is a clear indication that the good days are here. Michael Olaleye takes a look at the gains in the rail subsector and prospects of expansion on the heels of Democracy Day celebration.
The joy of Emmanuel Omowajuwo knows no bound when his daughter secured admission to study at the University of Ibadan. It is a lifetime dream becoming a reality, but within him, he has the fear of how his young girl will survive the ever-busy Lagos-Ibadan Expressway in her quest for academic excellence. With construction work at 90% along the Lagos-Ibadan rail line, his daughter now has an alternative.
In 10, 20 years ago, if anybody should tell me that during my time, we will witness what we are seeing between Lagos, Abeokuta to Ibadan, I would have such. But to the glory of God, the present government of the day has made it a reality. It's a physical something that everybody will see. So we are glad.
While dreams are being fulfilled, testimonies are emerging on a daily basis, and the safety and comfort that come with traveling through the rail remain unquantifiable.
The transport from Lagos to Ibadan is high. Even sometimes the accident and all that. I believe train is something, the accident risk is lesser.
If the passenger capacity of the Abuja-Kaduna rail line has grown above 4,000 on daily basis, one can imagine the prospect of economic growth that will be unleashed along the Lagos-Ibadan axis with its about 22 million population once fully operational. This explains why President Muhammadu Buhari, in his Democracy Day speech, emphasized injecting more locomotives, wagons and coaches on rail tracks across the country.
When you have a working train, a functional train service in the country, the commerce of that country will go up. Apart from the direct job opportunity that will be available for people, there will be indirect job opportunity. Along the route, people have to, you can see a lot of structures are coming up, and at the stations, business opportunity will come up.
The business corridor at Apapa is already breathing a sigh of relief. This is as a result of the commencement of freight operations, which will invariably ease the gridlock at the seaport, in addition to reducing the cost of moving cargoes.
What we agreed now is 2 trains a day. I mean, it's just to set off the operations. We intend to scale up to as much as 4 trains in the nearest future. So 2 trains a day takes away 38 40-foot containers off the road. It takes 38 trucks off the road.
The Itakpe-Warri rail line has not just been revived, but extended to Abuja, while construction of work of the Ibadan-Kano standard gauge will soon commence. All these, in addition to linking the various dry and deep sea ports to the rail lines across the country, are pointed to the blueprint of the federal government as using the rail system of transportation to drive the economy.
The ambitious concept of the rail revolution in Nigeria is gaining grounds, and we will commend government for the effort they have put in. And then all that government needs to do then is to ensure intermodal connectivity so that the rail lines are connected to other modes of transportation to make it easier for everybody.
The progress are visible, and it is just a matter of time that the whole country will be connected by rail, which in turn will translate to wealth creation at the grassroots. Which other gains of democracy can be greater than this, Becky?
Yes, Michael, the rail system is on its way to becoming world-class. Now let's talk about the dreaded virus. The timeline for Nigeria's response to the coronavirus pandemic is defined by new rules governing human interactions, especially in public. As we know, social and physical restrictions still regulate the conduct of Nigerians, even as the pandemic has hit a milestone of 100 days. Rabi Abdallah will now chronicle major highlights, beginning from when the country recorded its index case in February.
The unprecedented global coronavirus pandemic caused by SARS-CoV-2, which originated from Wuhan in China at the end of 2019, has infected over 7 million people and led to the death of more than 4 million worldwide. Nigeria recorded its first COVID-19 case imported into the country by an Italian national who flew in through the Murtala Muhammad International Airport, Lagos. Since then, the number of cases in Nigeria has increased, with Lagos being the epicenter of COVID-19 in the country. The rising rates of infection in Europe and the high number of cases in China at that period, and the fact that international flights were still operating, made Nigeria particularly vulnerable to COVID-19. On the 9th of March, President Muhammadu Buhari constituted the Presidential Task Force on COVID-19, chaired by the Secretary to the Government of the Federation, Boss Mustafa, with Dr. Sani Aliyu as National Coordinator, with memberships from various ministries, departments, and agencies. Since then, the PTF has coordinated a multi-stakeholder response to the pandemic. The PTF also serves as an advisory body to the President on specific decisions such as imposing and lifting of lockdowns, provide daily feedback to the public through daily media briefings with journalists. With the PTF holding sway, President Buhari first banned flights from countries with high rates ongoing transmission of COVID-19 on March the 18th, and 5 days later announced a total closure of the nation's airspace and land borders. With the Federal Ministry of Information and Culture, with the agencies and parastatals under it ensuring that the public gets the right information on protection and safety from COVID-19. The priority given to health security by the federal government over the last 3 years through the NCDC became instrumental to the establishment of state public health emergency operation centers in 23 of the 30 states in Nigeria. These emergency operation centers have served as the coordination hub at state level. Nigeria's response to the novel coronavirus pandemic has not been without challenges. Worthy of mention is the global competition for access to reagents and medical supplies, which limited the initial testing capacity of the molecular labs. Prior to the confirmation of the first case in Nigeria, NCDC supported 2 laboratories within its molecular lab network to activate testing for COVID-19. Since then, the number of labs is increased to 30 with a combined minimum capacity of 10,000 tests daily, with plans to expand to at least 10 more labs by the end of this month. Efforts to curb the spread of COVID-19 led to the first lockdown, which took effect in Lagos, Abuja, and Ogun at the end of March. Kano State also had 2 weeks total lockdown after a series of unexplained deaths were recorded in April. Efforts to unravel the mysterious deaths led to the setting up of a ministerial task force led by Dr. Nasir Gwarzo and Professor Abdusalami Nasidi. The team, later described as a game changer for Kano and some northern states, swung into action with their findings via verbal autopsy, revealing that 50 to 60 of the deaths were due to COVID-19 in the face of underlying health conditions. 2 states of Kogi and Cross River had enjoyed a zero coronavirus status until the 28th of May, when the index case in Kogi State was announced by the NCDC. Before then, however, the drama that ensued between the NCDC and the Kogi State government when, in the course of trying to ascertain the authenticity of the state's zero coronavirus status, insisted on having the NCDC officials quarantined, is still a subject of discourse among Nigerians. Monday, the 23rd of March, was when the first death from COVID-19 was recorded in the country. It has been a long list of high-profile deaths, which include the late Chief of Staff to the President, Abba Kyari. Health workers and journalists are formidable frontliners in the fight against COVID-19.
Doffing is after we have seen the patient, when we are about leaving the dirty area, the patient area, we doff by removing the PPEs. That's why we are at risk. When removing the PPE, there might be some splashes or little mistakes, but that's one of the reasons why we have been trained.
I also had this part of coming back to the office and you had people say, hey, you went to isolation center. Oh, you see people shutting their doors. I'm like, oh, please don't come here. Then thinking of going back home. Then the first few weeks, when you feel this scratch in your throat and you're like, hope I'm safe. It was scary, I must say, but I guess it's part of our duty. We need to go out for these stories to get the people informed.
On Monday, the 27th of April, President Muhammadu Buhari announced a phased and gradual easing of lockdown measures. The new measures include ban on interstate travels, mandatory use of face masks, and a curfew, just as restrictions of large social and religious gatherings remain in place. The easing restrictions come at a time when Nigeria's rate of confirmed cases is reflecting sharp growth. In the absence of a vaccine, Nigeria and indeed the rest of the global community are left with no choice but to strictly adhere to public health and social measures designed to keep COVID-19 at bay, as well as supportive management of confirmed cases. As it is, a whole lot depends on personal and collective responsibility that translates to personal and collective survival.
It was a comprehensive piece. Thank you, Rabbi. Coronavirus is still around. That is why we must stay protected. Meanwhile, the fashion industry has always drawn inspiration from happenings in the world and has done same with the novel coronavirus. Looking around in public, people now make fashion statements with face masks. Tekla Wilke reports on a few eye-catching designs.
It came like a thief in the night, lashed onto us while we were deep in sleep and robbed us of our norms. COVID-19 is the biggest nightmare of the century that has dramatically altered life as we know it. The virus is as virulent as they come, as it spreads its venom across the globe, touching on every aspect of society and holding her prisoner at will. While COVID-19 may have had its moment when the world was taking a nap, many countries have since responded to the wake-up call. First, with a shutdown, and then with guidelines and ensured people are protected as they come out of their shells. Top on the list of COVID-19 rituals include keeping physical distance, washing of hands, and wearing a mask. Yes, wearing a mask. Before now, for most people, the wearing of mask was an exclusive reserve of medical practitioners. History have it that since the 1920s, mask is a standard medical accessory in operating rooms. COVID-19 is obviously rewriting history, and like it happened in the great pandemics and epidemics in the past, this novel virus is compelling people, regardless of age, race, gender, and geographical placement, to adopt the face mask as a necessary daily accessory. And as it turns out, face mask is one of the best-selling items in the world today. Going back in time, the word mask reportedly appeared in English in the 1530s. Derived from a Middle French word masque, meaning a cover or a guard for the face, the earliest record of usage of mask dates back to the 16th century BC. Reports have it that some images of people wearing cloth over their mouths were found on the doors of Persian tombs. History also records that doctors started wearing the first surgical mask in 1897, which is no different from the handkerchief tied around one's face. This is a far comparison to surgical masks of today used to prevent doctors from coughing or sneezing droplets onto wounds during surgery. A probe into the evolution of the most current version of face mask called the N95 respirator reveals that the mask actually evolved from the 3M medical mask of 1961. Designed by Sarah Little Turnbull, the mask was inspired by Sarah's own experience of losing 3 of her family members in the 1950s. This led her focus on creating a better medical mask. Her design and influence informed the improvement in the N95 as we know it today. The usage of masks has since evolved from the sole purpose of protection to disguise and even entertainment. There is also the traditional angle to wearing masks. In West Africa and here in Nigeria, masks are used in masquerades that form part of religious ceremonies enacted to communicate with spirits and ancestors. Examples are the masquerades of the Yoruba, Igbo, and Edo cultures. From the animal mask worn in some indigenous ceremonies to Halloween disguises, none seem to beat the current wave of facial masks in most societies. However, wearing a facial mask in public has been a cultural norm in many Asian countries long before COVID-19. There is also the question of who should wear a mask. While some health experts insist that the face mask isn't necessarily meant for everyone, especially for those with trouble breathing or incapacitated, there is also the concern about clothed face covering on children younger than 2 years of age. The options, unfortunately, are limited. Is either choosing to breathe easier or masking the battle against COVID-19 in a combination of style and safety. Interestingly, some businesses have switched from the production of all kinds of items to churning out striking and stunning-looking masks. And just as sunglasses and hats started out as items meant to simply protect the wearer from the sun, the face mask is blazing the trail in the world of fashion, making bold statements one mask at a time. This begs the question of what has become of the woman's best friend, the makeup. It takes a crisis to form a tactic, and fashion is no exception. And in choosing practicality over vanity, wearing a mask, many insist, is only a sign of taking back control and a small price to pay in healing the earth of the impact of COVID-19.
Can't help but imagine the colorful Ashwebi face masks people will wear to Owambes. Thanks, Tekla. Let's go on a break now. More captivating reports when we return.
Stay-home data plan. All existing Glow customers now enjoy up to 20% more data. Dial *777# to choose a plan. Glow Unlimited.
All over the world, the current pandemic has had unimaginable impact on people, communities, companies, and economies. On some days, things feel hopeless. But as an organization that preaches optimism and hope, we cannot afford to let that Uncle Thomas mindset take over. As a people and as a nation, we have no choice but to rise above this pandemic. This is why we have come up with the Rise Challenge, to shine the spotlight on you, our customers, who are doing all you can to rise above this pandemic. You are being innovative, charitable, creative, and resourceful, and we want to hear your story. Every week for the next 4 weeks, we will select 10 of the most inspiring stories to share and reward. If your story is selected, you will receive 250,000 Naira from Union Bank to support the work you are doing to rise above the pandemic. Whatever it is you are doing, we want your stories to have impacted lives while bringing us much needed hope and inspiration during this time, so we can all rise together. For more details on the Rise Challenge, go to www.unionbankng.com/the Rise Challenge. So tell us, what are you doing to rise?
In Nigeria, there is one sound we need to silence. So let's silence toothache before it starts with Oral-B all-round protection. Its advanced technology helps prevent both tooth holes and gum problems that can lead to tooth loss. It strengthens your teeth, giving them all-round protection. Because the only sound we really want to hear is that of our future. For healthier, stronger teeth in 1 week.
Remember that Nigerian water let's want marry. She dey come my house today. I'm gonna tell her to marry me.
Remember what I taught you about playing music from the internet?
I'm gonna play romantic music for her. The phone remains small, make it done. Will you marry me? I have a surprise for you. Google, play me a romantic music. Everything is okay. Network is shaky. Google, play me a romantic music. Google, play me a romantic music. Maybe I should go.
Don't let poor internet ruin special moments. Join the super fast and reliable 4G network and get double data.
Now in the watch.
Introducing the new Nivea Dry Impact and Dry Comfort Deodorant. Now with quick dry effect and longer lasting fragrance. Guaranteed to keep you feeling dry and fresh all day. Who proven 48-hour protection, and longer-lasting fragrance from Nivea.
Never get caught unfresh with the new Nivea Dry Fresh deodorants.
Let's do something more interesting. Let's sing.
All amazing moms who nurture the uniqueness in our kids while keeping them healthy and safe. So kids, stay indoors, wash your hands, and enjoy your favorite delicious Indomie noodles. Indomie noodles, tasty nutrition, good for you.
Your hogs are a comfy place for dropping in, for lazing around, and hanging out. So we've designed our hugs to be just as comfy, with a super-absorbent cord to lock wetness away and a soft, flexible waistband. Our most comfortable diaper keeps baby comfy at every angle. We'll never stop finding new ways to hug more like you. Huggies, your hugs inspire ours.
The story you're about to watch sounds like something out of Nollywood, but it happened for real in Abuja. The plot started when a married woman got pregnant. Now, this is good news for any couple, isn't it? But not for this couple. So poor were they that the expectant mother attempted abortion twice, but failed each time. Then she switched to plan B, which was having the baby just anywhere. And when she fell into labor, she made her way to a nearby bush to give birth. You're not going to believe what happened thereafter. Mom Soul Damian Dati will give us the full gist.
It took Newsline at least 60 minutes or more through the uncharted path to locate this family in the outskirts of Abuja. Alas, we arrived at the new home, a room and parlor, housing Obochi and Helen Agbo with their 7 children, plus Helen's younger sister and brother, who are here to help out with the latest addition, the triplets who would have been aborted.
When I got pregnant, I don't even know. Even my husband said that he's not pregnant because I was doing family planning. I don't know how come the family planning failed.
A reality she denied for 4 months.
That was 4 months before I noticed that I'm pregnant. So I went to the doctor. I want to abort the child. I tell doctor that, doctor, if I didn't abort this child, they will not go to school. The doctor said, no. You don't know who you are going to born. You don't know tomorrow. You don't know the child that will help you in life.
All this while, she neither saw a doctor, visited a hospital, nor attended antenatal, until the pregnancy was 8 months with complications. And behold, the results devastating.
I do scan. That was 8 months. I don't know where. Scan told me that it's twins. My mind jumped. Because there is no money, my husband didn't have work. I said I don't enter troubles.
When she tell me, say, the belly is too picking for inside, I say I have BP, my BP rise up. I say I should go rest more. Before I come back, then carry my yogurt thing when I use serum. And I buy the bicycle 35,000.
9 months and labor started. Instead of the hospital, they sought a nearby bush.
We run enter bush so that maybe God will help me. I'll born for bush there. Then I'll carry my baby home because there is no money in our hospital.
Left with no choice, they had to seek urgent medical help to save Helen's life.
They came in and there was virtually no cash in them. But as our policy is in this facility, we take life as prime. So we wanted to save her situation, and we attended to her. She delivered the first set of the twin. After about 8 hours, she was able to deliver the second twin. Third twin, which we discovered after we discovered we delivered the second twin, we had concluded she had a twin gestation.
As the baby just got, I say, hey, God, I am free. I don't know there is another baby again. So doctor look at my tummy, say, this your tummy is too big. He touched my tummy. He said, it's like there is another baby there. I said, no, doctor, it's not a baby. It's my big tummy. I have big tummy. He said, okay, let's do scan. Behold, the baby was dancing in my tummy. Hey.
And here are the results. Sarah, the only girl, Samuel, and Samson. The older siblings, though excited but are a bit skeptical about how their new babies will cope with the hardship they undergo. For instance, the oldest son, Sunday, 16 years old, is still in primary 5 and can't make progress for now.
My mommy and my daddy, there is no money to train me in the school, that is why. I go to LEA primary school that did not used to pay school fees, but the small money is called PTA. It's 2,000. They chase me away sometimes. I want to be an engineer.
The second, Mary, at 9 years, has been battling sickle cell, and her pain has inspired in her the ambition of becoming a medical doctor, having suffered since birth.
I'm not be going to school. I'm going small. Sometimes they drive us away from school because of school fees. I want to be doctor.
So I got job. They are paying us 20,000 for cleaner. So as the pregnancy come with the stress, I no fit bend down sweep again before I lost the job. That January, my husband was going to the yogurt. For February, it's February that the thief is back school.
But in the midst of this heart-wrenching story comes a rewarding smile when the Abu's benefactor, Ene Ede, who has been mobilizing support and assistance since the arrival of the twins, brought out more gift items and donations from good-spirited Nigerians.
Different individuals, they contributed money. We were able to raise less than 500,000 naira, and we paid for 2 years for this house. It means primary health must be a priority of all of us.
In fact, this new home, all the furniture and bed you see are donations, a contrast to their former one-room apartments in Kadimo village, where they relocated from.
Yes, there were funny sound bites in that report, but it was touching. Let's show some love to the kids and their parents. Yes, of course. Moving on, do you recall the conjoined twins who were successfully separated by Nigerian surgeons at the National Hospital in Abuja? We featured the remarkable story many weeks ago on Newsline. To follow up on their progress, we decided to check up on the family to see how the babies are faring. Let's find out the latest from Hakimat Saliu.
Remember Goodness and Mercy, the conjoined twins successfully separated by medical experts at the National Hospital, Abuja, a development widely celebrated in Abuja and the country at large.
It's not the first one that will be done in the National Hospital, but this one is the first successful one.
I'm so wonderful for what God did for these people.
I'm very, very happy to see my children safely.
We didn't know that it will be successfully, but with God and the team of the National Hospital, in short, I appreciate them very well.
The good news did not end there for the Martins. It's now 2 months to their second birthday, and Goodness and Mercy, independent of each other, are healthy and already taking their baby steps.
In every stage of their life is the testimony. What I hope to see in a few years to come, seeing them starting school, coming back from school, running towards me, mommy, I'm back. Future. I want to see how they'll become a strong woman and become a very powerful medical doctor.
It's a kind of happy moment here at the National Hospital, Abuja, seeing Goodness and Mercy again after over 6 months when I last visited them at their home in Maraba.
Chief Medical Director, National Hospital, Abuja, Dr. Jaff Momo, noted that they will continue to contribute to the well-being of the twins as they remain a great achievement of the hospital.
If nobody tells you the way you saw them now, you will never believe they were joined together. And that's the purpose of separating co-joined twins. You want them to each be able to lead a normal life. And during this period, we were able to organize a few palliatives and sent message to them.
And just like their names, the twins no doubt came with goodness and mercy for the family. Well-meaning Nigerians and National Hospital donated generously to get them rehabilitated away from the single-room apartment they used to occupy to a more decent accommodation and clean environment. Exactly just what the babies need to thrive without compromising their health.
Goodness and mercy are doing well, and that's just great. It's time for another commercial break. Stay with us.
It's so good to be here.
I brought that specially for you. You see that sanitizer you're holding? That is my protection against germs. Germs are everywhere, and they're always in places like there, and there. These germs spread all sorts of illnesses, so we have to be vigilant and protect our health. And that's why I use Too Sure Hand and Surface Sanitizer. With 70% alcohol, Too Sure Sanitizers ensures that you stop germs and you live well.
Wow. So I can be sure of my protection from germs.
Not just sure, but Too Sure.
Auntie Too Sure.
Oh no. Call me Auntie Too Sure. Too Sure Hand and Surface Sanitizer. Stop germs, live well.
Introducing the new Nivea Dry Impact and Dry Comfort Deodorants. Now with quick dry effect and longer lasting fragrance. Guaranteed to keep you feeling dry and fresh all day. Proven 48-hour protection and longer lasting fragrance from Nivea.
Never get caught unfresh with the new Nivea Dry Fresh Deodorants.
In Nigeria, there is one sound we need to silence. So let's silence toothache before it starts with Oral-B All-Round Protection. Its advanced technology helps prevent both tooth holes and gum problems that can lead to tooth loss. It strengthens your teeth, giving them all-round protection. Because the only sound we really want to hear is that of our future. For healthier, stronger teeth in 1 week.
Since 1971, Nigeria's foremost human capital development institution, the Industrial Training Fund, ITF, has been at the forefront of equipping Nigerians with skills for national growth. Today's ITF has repositioned and refocused its programs, forging new partnerships locally and internationally to effectively deliver on its mandate. With 37 area offices and 5 industrial skills training centers across the country, ITF is pushing to reduce unemployment by providing relevant technical and vocational skills for employability and entrepreneurship in diverse trades and crafts. Whether you're a public or private organization seeking to improve the skills of your personnel or an individual looking to acquire skills that will increase your chances of employment or even to help start your own business, today's ITF has a program for you. Speak to us today. Contact our area offices nationwide or visit our website www.itf.gov.ng. ITF, developing the nation's human resource.
Wetin be this coronavirus thing? Na true?
You see this coronavirus wey be COVID-19. Na the whole world palava, and e don dey kill many people for China, Italy, UK, US, Spain, and even for other countries dem.
Okay, wetin come be the reason wey dem say make everybody tanda for house?
Na because if e dey waka pium go carry am from person wey don get am, you go carry come give your family dem. Na so the thing take dey kill other people for other country.
Okay, wetin come be that social distancing sef?
You see social distance. Now make we no come close because this thing na from air and touch now we dey contact am. We suppose dey at least 6 foot away from each other every time.
So okay, no be only to wash your hand and to sanitize them alone.
Make we no take this motion of hand thing take play but make we come together, join hand as we take pursue Ebola, pursue this coronavirus. Make we be each other be keepers now.
Nigerians, let us take responsibility. Stay healthy, stay safe, and curb the spread of the virus. Take responsibility. The coronavirus spreads from one person to another. Let us avoid crowd gathering of any kind for any reason. Take responsibility. Avoid traveling from one state to another during these lockdown restrictions. Obey all the rules that are put in place. Take responsibility. Stop spreading fake news and unverified reports about the coronavirus. There is no known cure for COVID-19. Take responsibility. Observe all the measures that can help stop the spread of the virus. Together, we can do this, but only if we take responsibility. This message is brought to you by the Nigerian Television Authority, NTA, Africa's largest television network. The number of the COVID-19 cases in Nigeria is increasing daily, with many more tests ongoing. The battle of testing, isolating, treating, and attending to the affected persons rests heavily on the shoulders of our health workers, constantly putting their lives on the line and at risk to contain this virus, save and protect the lives of millions of Nigerians. To these health workers, we at the Nigerian Television Authority, NTA, on behalf of millions of Nigerians, say a big thank you for all that you have done and are doing. To the security agencies enforcing the lockdown and every other frontliner, we say thank you for putting your lives on the line to save ours. There is no amount of words that can quantify our gratitude. Thank you. This message is brought to you by the Nigerian Television Authority, NTA, Africa's largest television network.
Thanks for staying with us. A 35-year-old woman in Osun State who has been in prison for 2 years recently regained her freedom. Her story is being told because she was thrown into jail for a crime she did not commit. Shegun Lawole tells us that she stood surety for someone very close to her and he disappeared when it was payback time, leaving her to bear the repercussions of the felony. I will stand down now and allow her recount the sad experience.
35-year-old Bose Abiodun is from Ijebu-Jesha, a medium town in Osun State. Her incarceration for 25 months in Ilesha Correctional Center for an offense committed by her husband, Femi, now at large, having jumped bail, has left an indelible mark on her personality.
My husband went for hunting expedition where he mistakenly killed a fellow hunter in 2014. After appearing in court, he later jumped bail. I was his surety.
He just told me his husband go to the farm to kill some farm animals, something like that. So suddenly he killed a woman being. And after that time, they take him to prison for some months. So later then, he came back with a guarantee with his wife and the family member. So after that time, he ran away. So they come from prison to come and carry the wife.
Soko, however, came away through state amnesty on May 27. Prior to that, a human rights advocate had taken up Bose's case in conjunction with the Legal Aid Council, Osun State.
When we heard of the matter, we waged in just to make sure. I went to the DPP for some Legal Aid Council, they were involved. And by the time we went to the DPP, he said that except that we are able to bring either the husband or the first surety. That is why I worked towards that, to make sure that I get hold of the first surety, which happened to be the brother to the husband.
Now a mother of 4, Bose was delivered of the 4th baby right in the prison.
My joy knew no bounds after regaining my freedom.
After regaining her freedom, all she labored for in our tailoring business before going to prison, Adele Gang.
I I went to prison for an offense I did not commit. I need public-spirited Nigerians to assist me with startup capital, like sewing machine or money to bounce back.
She have a baby girl, he born for inside the prison. So, but we thank God that now, because of God, the government release her.
How lucky Bosse was. Her travail could have resulted from ignorance of the law or the love for her husband.
To tell people that you want to stand shorty for anybody, make sure that you have the power, both the election and some other things that's needed, because the law is no respecter of anybody. If you fall victim and the person you stand for jumped bail, it means you are going to be in problem.
Bosse Abiodun and her 4 children are currently living in Abuja, Osun State, with her father.
I've forgiven my husband because we are taught to forgive one another, but we are forever separated as husband and wife because I also lost my mother during my incarceration.
Stories like that one make people hesitant to stand surety, is wishing her a better life hereafter. And Newsline will end here this week. Don't forget to keep a date with us. Same time come Sunday. I leave you with this. Tough times don't last. Tough people do. Good night and God.